Now we have tuples. So what tuples will do and how it can be created. Tuples is also the same way we have list. It is going to store multiple items, multiple values like assigned to a single variable. Tuples is also is one of the built-in data type. You don't need to explicitly define the data type, or you're not calling out from some other library. So it is built-in data type in Python. And tuple is like a collection. It can't be changed. If you know the your requirement, your list is going to have only 9 element, 10 element, and it's the requirement is not going to change in future, then we can use the tuple. And for list, when we were defining it, we were using the square bracket. For tuple, we have to use the round bracket. Otherwise, there is no difference in list and tuple. So, like if I would say variable name is this, if I'm using it as a round bracket, just not to confuse. So what I will do here, I'll use the type function. I want to check what is the type. So let me just comment it. And this is not it. Now I want to check what is the type of tuple. So you see here, this is list type and this is tuple. If we are using the square bracket, it will be list. If we are using the round bracket, it is tuple. So this is how the tuple can be created. And what are the operations? The same way we have starting index from 0 in list, the same way we have in tuple also. Only the difference in list and tuple is the list items, whatever the values we have in list, that can be changed. We can modify in future, but the tuple can't be modified. If we know the future requirement is not going to change, then we can use the tuple. It's just like why we have to use the tuple or list. List is like, you know that there is no change in the future requirement. You will select the tuple, and there is other reason also for selecting the tuple. It will save memory in the backend, how it is going to store in the memory. If you know that if you are defining something as a list, and so Python interpreter will save or will assign some extra buffer memory values to it, so that if it is going to modify in future, it can assign those values in the memory, or it can allocate the memory for those values. But in tuple, the memory can be saved because the requirement is already clear in early phase. Same way, we can check the tuple length like we were doing in list. We can use the length functions, and the same like we were having. What are the data types? The tuple items can have. It can be have only string value. It can have only numeric value, or it can have boolean, or it can have a combinations also, like we were defining or declaring in list. How we can access tuple items? The same way, now the indexing will come into a picture. Like if you want to check the first item what is there in your tuple, you can use the specify the particular index value. This is the positive indexing uses, or the same way we can use the negative indexing also, like what is there on -1 index, what is there on -2 index, it can be used. Or not, if we don't want to print a single value, we want to know what is there from index 2 to index 4. So there is a range of index will come into a picture. So we were doing in string or we were doing in list, we can do the same thing. We can define the index, what is there from index 2 to index 5. It will print it. Same can be done with the negative indexing also. We can use the range of negative index. Like we want to check what is there from -4 index to -1. So we can do that. And we were checking if a particular item is existing in list or not. Same operation can be performed with tuple. There is no difference in that performing operations. You can use the if loop. You can check pass the values of the tuple item, and then you can check if it is there in tuple, it will be printed. If it is not there, it will not. Okay. Now I was saying like up we were having add, remove, delete, clear, delete, all these methods for list, but that is not required in the tuple because the tuple can't be modified. You can't change anything in the tuple. You can't add any items. You can't remove any items. Once it is created, it is created. But there is a way you can modify it. You first have to, like there is a tuple, we have defined it. X is a tuple, but still you want to change the values of X. So what you are going to do it, you have to change the data type of this X. You have to convert it into a list, then you can change the value. And then again you can convert into a tuple. So this is the way when we are saying you can't modify direct operations of update, add, delete, remove. This can't be performed on tuple. You have to change the data type to a list, then do the operations. Either it could be add, remove, deletion. Then again change the data type to tuple. So this is a way to perform the update operations on a tuple. Like if you want to add a item in a tuple, so what you will do, this is the tuple defined. First, we will do change the data type. Now this is in a list format. So list we can, yes, we can perform all the operations. We can use the insert method also. We can use the append method also. We can use other also. So like we are using the append method now. So orange item is added into this. Now again we have to change back it to a tuple. So now using this tuple keyword, we are changing it again into a tuple. The same way we can perform the delete operations also. We can remove any items. We can remove the entire all the items from a tuple, changing the data type. First, you have to convert into a list, then remove the item, then again change back to tuple. Okay, now we have certain methods available when we want to perform the operations. We have the count. Count, what it will do, it will help us to check what are how many number of items available in a tuple. Then we have index. If we want to search for a particular index, like we are not sure this what is there on the index 2 value, so we can use that. We can just uh, like we can print what is there on the index 2 value. It will show us what is there. We are not sure about the value, but we know that index 2 is there. So we can perform that with the positive index, negative index. It can be done in both the way.